This is our fixer-upper. Today I'm going to show you how I took out the original old front exterior door and replaced it with this new modern front door all in one day. Welcome to Maker Gray. Before I get started, I want to say thank you to the sponsor of today's video, Factor. Factor offers balanced eating made simple with fully cooked meals delivered fresh right to your door. You can choose meals based on your taste preferences or dietary restrictions, and each one is prepared from scratch by real chefs. If you're anything like me, you want to eat mindfully, but you're too busy most of the week to meal prep. I'm currently working overtime to create content while renovating our older home. Every workday I hit a stride between doing the physical renovation work or computer work, and I get frustrated when I have to stop and figure out a nutritious meal. These pre-portioned meals are perfect for those looking for no-hassle prepared food for busy people who want to eat well. Factor offers meat, seafood, and veggie-based dishes and preferences that include keto and calorie-smart options. Menus are updated weekly, and each meal can be heated in your microwave or oven in minutes. I've found that I'm more productive when I eat better, and Factor has not only supported my nutritious eating, but also been my answer to finding it convenient to eat while I'm busy working. Check out all that Factor has to offer by clicking the link down below and using my coupon code for a special offer. The current front door of our house is original. Thanks to some Band-Aid paint, the front looks decent from afar, but everything behind it is in pretty rough shape. Also, there's no windows in this area, so it's really dark in this hallway when the door is closed. The new door we picked up is a pre-hung door, which means the door and the frame come as one unit. You can see that I got a left-hand in-swing door, which means that as you open it, the hinges are on the left, it swings inward, the door handle is on the right, which you naturally grab with your left hand. I made sure to get a pre-primed door because I wanted to paint mine, and I decided that I wanted to get a head start on painting it before I hung the door. I added painter's tape to protect the window, and then I got to work painting the trim with an exterior paint. I immediately removed the tape before the trim dried to keep the lines crisp and ensure no paint pulled up with the tape. And then I rolled on the rest, repeating the process for the other side of the door as well. With the paint drying, it's on to door demo. The first step for me is to remove this storm door. It's in decent shape, so we were able to give it away to someone who could use it. Next, I need to remove the interior trim. I scored the caulk line between the trim board and the frame on both sides of the board. And then I used a pry bar with a putty knife behind it. The putty knife protects the door frame and the drywall from the force of the pry bar. And finally, off with the old original door. This is simple and easy by just removing the hinges. Now onto the frame. I went around the frame and looked for install screws. If I could see them, I'd unscrew them, but some were hidden. So for those, I got my recip saw and cut them off. I then used a pry bar to work the frame completely out, and I hauled it away. This project temporarily leaves a big hole in your house, so you want to make sure and start early and get this done in one day. Also, check the weather before you start. I then removed the exterior trim. Normally this trim would be carefully saved and added back on at the end, but I'm going to be changing it out for newer trim. Once I removed my frame, I realized that not only was the insulation terrible, but the installer added some sketchy scrap framing to make up some space. You want your house frame to be a close fit to the door frame, but let's do it better. I'm going to close in the gaps of the height and the width with some lumber that I'm adding to the studs. This wooden piece, which will be under the threshold, is called the sill. Mine was in bad shape, so I went ahead and cut a new one with treated lumber, using the old one as a template. My door is under a deep overhang and won't see much weather, but as a precaution, let's apply the correct waterproofing protection. I started with a strip of flexible flashing tape. This is normally applied with the sill already installed, but I took advantage of the convenience of easy access before installation. I then laid down some construction adhesive and set in the new sill. Mine was a tad out of level, so I added a shim on the short side, and now it's level and ready to go. Next, I came back with some flashing tape and installed it corner to corner, folding the front over the sill just a tad. I then came back with a roller to apply better pressure and work out any creases. For the corners, I got this amazing product called stretch tape. It's so cool. It stretches to conform to corners and makes waterproofing corners easy with no seams. You can use it all the way across your sill, but it's expensive, so I took a tip from my friend April Wilkerson and cut just enough for the corners while using the less expensive stuff all the way across. I then continued with the flashing, working up the sides of the frame corner to corner, overlapping the stretch tape. Okay, now let's install the door. I laid down a thick bead of silicone caulking and then took the bottom of the door and set it on the sill and tilted the top into the frame. And it was really cool to finally see it in place. I made sure that the threshold was level and that there was an even gap on each side of the door. I got this really cool tool called a windbag. It's a very strong inflatable alignment shim. In this case, it's going to hold the door open for me and keep the frame in place while I align it. Wood shims are important to keep the pre-hung door square to the door frame. I added shims at the 3 hinges, making sure the hinge side was plumb. Now the door can be attached to the frame. Each hinge comes with 1 screw left out, so you can use that hole to run in a long screw to the frame. I then shimmed the opposite side and checked to make sure it was plumb. On this side, instead of making obvious holes in the frame, I pulled back the weather stripping and hid my screws behind it. With the second side attached, I then closed the door and checked the fit, making sure the gap was even all the way down. And then I went ahead and attached the strike plate, doorknob, and deadbolt. For insulating and air sealing the gaps, I grabbed a low expansion foam. This will insulate with low pressure without swelling the door frame and kicking it out of square. The next day, I finished up the inside by adding updated trim, covering the raw door frame and insulation. For the outside, instead of the old vinyl trim, I decided to install some cedar and give it a more modern look, and I'm really happy with that choice. And with that, this door project is done. But before we check out these final shots, let's take a look back at the old door. Despite Band-Aid paint, this door was looking rough. A front door is a focal point of a house and we can really do better. And now here's the new door. This one change alone has really improved and updated our house and reflects a much better welcome. I think the paint and the modern door hardware really give this door a high-end look. And finally having natural window light in this hallway has brought it to life. I'm so glad I upgraded to the cedar trim as it really gives a warm element and even more dimension to this black door. The end result is amazing and it's exactly what I was hoping for. And the exterior is only going to get better. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it and you learned something. If you liked it, please leave a like down below and consider subscribing. I've got a lot more home renovation projects to go. Thank you again, and I'll see you on the next project.